I'm Dr. Dan Henry. I'm a family physician who specializes in complicated headache disease in children, adolescents, and adults. I didn't originally plan on being a headache specialist or dealing with this disease so much until my youngest child, Danielle, developed severe headache disease from a very young age. As she grew older, she became worse and worse. She had a small stroke in early '99 and then ended her suffering in the spring of 1999, her senior year in high school. In the last few years, myself, my wife Diane, my daughter Elizabeth have decided that we needed to start a foundation to really raise awareness about migraine disease. And so we started the Danielle Byron Henry Migraine Foundation to raise awareness, number one. Number two, to start programs.
My name is Sarah Demers. I'm 20 years old. I work in loan processing and personal finance at Goldman Sachs.
I'm Katie Davis, and I'm a mom of 3 girls.
My name is Mark Hurst. I've spent 40 plus years in the advertising agency business.
My name is Courtney Ray Reineke, and I'm 21 years old. I have been a student off and on for the past 4 years. Because of my migraines, I haven't been able to complete my associates yet.
For 5 or 6 years, it was a headache 3 or 4 times a month, and treating it was okay. It's a headache. 10 years later, it was once or twice a week. And the last 10 years was every day, all day, every day, with no end.
Well, I started getting headaches when I was about 5, and all throughout elementary school. Didn't really know why, but I would just always have a headache.
I had my first migraine when I was 7, and I have a strong family history of migraines on both sides.
I got to high school, and about halfway through my sophomore year, I started having them about every 2 to 3 days, and they just progressed from there until I was about 19, and I was getting them daily.
When I was 17, I started getting headaches more frequently.
I spent a lot of time in very dark rooms. I ended up buying blackout curtains and getting the darkest paper I could find, putting it over the windows, and kind of just became a hermit.
Since I was 17, that's when I've started having chronic and hemiplegic migraines.
I then went into just a pattern of chronic daily migraine where my head always hurt. And it wasn't a matter of it not hurting, it would just hurt, and just how bad. So I think the biggest struggle I've had with my migraine is how it's affected my ability to be a mom.
I felt like I think many headache sufferers feel that it's not worth bothering to tell people about. You just kind of live with it and you just suffer through it.
It's not just a headache. I mean, people say it's just a bad headache, but it's so much more. It's not knowing how to drive your car anymore because it doesn't make sense to you. It's not knowing how to brush your hair because you don't understand what a hairbrush does. And it's more than just a headache. It's a complete life-changing moment where you have to hit pause and just stop.
And a lot of people don't have any idea the severity of a headache until you're a sufferer. You just don't really appreciate how debilitating. The best word, the only word I can come up with is debilitating. They shut you down.
It's such a specific, excruciating pain, and I think too because it's in your head, it affects the way you think. And migraines hit with this laser-like focus. The ones that just, it's like having a hot iron just searing through, behind your eyes or whatever location it might be at. And they're just relentless.
It's painful to look at the person that I was on track to be and then the person that I have become. I've grown a lot, but at the same time, it's like I missed out on going to college and living in a dorm and going out with friends and just being with people. All those things that you do in your freshman year.
I tried every doctor I could think of, a neurologist, an orthopedic guy. I had MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, everything to try to find. I don't mind telling you openly that there were times when I wish I had a brain tumor, so they could do an X-ray or an MRI and see it and say, oh, well, there's something seriously wrong with you. But you could never find the cause of it.
And then what happened?
I met Dr. Henry, and he was able to get me into a study and completely saved my life, 100%.
I met Dr. Henry in 2013, and I was completely blown away. I had never met a doctor before that had so much compassion and wisdom and was so sympathetic to what I was going through. Because up to that point, I have experienced doctor after doctor that I was just a frustration to.
I know that I'll never be the person that I was before, but he's honestly the only person that's believed in me to put enough time and effort into me to say, you're gonna get your life back. You're gonna start living a normal life, or as close to normal as you can.
It would be 95% honest and true and correct to say that I'm cured. I don't think you're ever cured.
And so now I feel like I am functional again. I am driving, I can walk, I can take care of my kids.
Well, there's talk of marriage now, and I'm in the process of buying my first house and getting promotions at work and really starting a career. I'm enrolled to start school next semester, so I'm actually living a life again.
Right now, we're working in conjunction with the University of Utah to develop a headache school. And this school, the foundation financially pays for this. Anyone is welcome. It is totally free to the public and to migraine patients and their families.
One of the things that is happening in a migraine is there's a communication between nerve and blood vessel at the level of the covering of the brain.
I have a restorative yoga instructor who comes in. Everybody brings their yoga mats, and we do restorative yoga.
Let your arms open out to the sides. Rotate your palms back. Yoga works on migraines because it teaches body awareness and mindfulness, how to kind of calm your nervous system and your pain through movement and mindful movement.
There needs to be so much more done to help with migraines, because I think for a long time it was just something that, oh, you just get and there wasn't much you could do about it and you try to sleep. But now even all the research that Dr. Henry's done has made such a difference in people's lives. We need to take that momentum and keep going.
I'm begging him to make sure that everybody knows, every doctor now knows how to diagnose and treat headaches, because it's a ridiculous condition that millions of people suffer from, loss of productivity, and there has to be more research and there has to be more widespread knowledge and education about patients and doctors, especially primary care physicians. It's got to move downstream past the specialists to primary care physicians so that everybody understands there's help available, because it's ridiculous that you have to suffer, that families have to suffer with this debilitating condition.
When I see somebody that I can give their life back, there's tremendous satisfaction in that. And you know, every time I get somebody's help, I see my youngest daughter, who's kind of driving this, as far as this is supposed to be my life's work. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, is helping these patients.